And I got to tell you, I have been watching parts of, news commentators and YouTube commentators and whatnot. And I am far more interested in people that I disagree with than I am people I agree with.
Of course.
So I watch a lot of people I disagree with.
Yeah.
I think it's far more interesting. I think it's far more challenging. I think it provokes thought rather than reinforces, notions that you already have, preconceived notions.
Who's the opponent of the week?
Say again?
Who's the opponent of the week?
The whole left of the spectrum media. It was so. I got to tell you, I'm a fan of the United States, man. I love the United States. I love the fact that we have the right to keep and bear arms. I love the fact that we have freedom of speech and freedom of assembly and freedom of religion and freedom of press. I am so proud of the United States for posse comitatus that I've talked about, how federal troops can't enforce, laws, or at least shouldn't be. We have accomplished so much. What I'm not a fan of is I'm not a fan of the United States federal government. I'm not a fan of about half the Americans in our country. And it has caused a lot of inner thought, and consternation. And I've thought to myself, like sometimes little things, sometimes big things, but I've thought to myself, is this where I even want to live? I got a good buddy who is leaving the United States and taking his family to live in Thailand to pursue the American dream. In essence, this guy's as patriotic as they come. He's a veteran. He loves America, and he's like, I'm not here. I got to live here for a while, but I'm like in retirement. Is this where I want to stay? It's not the country that was built. I love the fact that we, I agree with the framers of the Constitution that we shouldn't get involved in, horrible entangling, wars and alliances with other countries. This is the country of the self-governed. I agree that we shouldn't have a standing army, which isn't mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. They mention funding the Navy. They don't talk anything about having a standing army. I love the fact that we vote for our representatives. I love the fact that the legislature picks the senators and the electoral college picks the president. But that stuff's not happening anymore. You know what I mean? We do have a standing army. We do put them in other countries. We do have entangling alliances with other countries. We don't have the legislatures picking the senators anymore. So much has changed in this of the original experiment. I love America. But for years have questioned, I'm not sure I love what they're calling America today. And it's caused, a lot of thought. It's caused a lot of thought. The idea that we're so far in debt, the national debt, and none of this makes any sense anymore. And there are a lot of people to blame.
It doesn't make sense, and so many people are accepting it and are looking the other way.
Yeah,
because it's become normal.
It's just how it is.
I will tell you, my generation, at least in the circles that I went around in, we weren't taught the true history of the Constitution. We weren't taught about how it's supposed to be there to actually protect the people from the government. I think that a big part of this, and my guess is that it has a lot to do with misinformation, miseducation of the generation that's up and coming and that's in charge now and is then in charge of educating their youth.
Yes.
I think there's a lot lost there.
Yeah. And I've been thoroughly unhappy. And of course, San Diego County Gun Owners and the Second Amendment and the things that I do professionally, what I've dedicated my life to, is I'm not going to be able to solve every problem. But I know, hey, I can work really, really hard, and I can definitely make headway on this problem. So that's kind of kept me engaged. You know what I mean? When I do get too far down, I'm like, oh, geez, I can at least go, hey, you know what? The world is a better place today than it was yesterday because of the work that we do, and that keeps me going. But there have been times when I've, like they'll say, hey, everybody stand up. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've thought to myself, what am I pledging allegiance to? Is that, am I? Do I have allegiance these days? Because they don't seem to have any allegiance to me. You know, it's not the country it should be. So it's been little things, it's been big things. But where I'm going with this is I am so proud of what happened in the last election.
I thought you were going to say you're moving to Thailand.
No, not moving to Thailand. I'll probably go visit, though. I got a buddy. I got a couch I can crash on now. I'm going to go visit my buddy in Thailand. But no, I am so proud of the last election. And, first off, I didn't think we were going to have a winner by now. I thought it was going to drag on and on and on. But we got a winner much quicker than I anticipated.
Right.
But watching the other side melt down, take time out of their day to absolutely fall apart.
Sit in their safe space hole.
Well, and the way in which they've fallen apart makes it so much better. Makes it so much better because they're not. It's like this ridiculous facade has just crumbled to the ground. Yep. They were, he's Hitler. He's a horrible tyrant. He's a threat to democracy. And all of that has fallen away. They didn't mean a word of it. They didn't mean any of it. Kamala is so capable and she's such a leader. And the other guy, I don't even remember the guy's name. I don't even remember her
Spence.
What's his name?
Spence?
No. No. We don't even remember the vice presidential candidate's name. Walz. We don't remember his name. And, this guy's, he's a leader, he's a coach, he's a whatever, he's all this like. Meanwhile, I haven't seen hide nor hair of him. I've seen so much criticism of them. Mm-hmm. I've seen they weren't real. So much wasn't real. So much of this wasn't real. They didn't really think he was going to take away democracy.
They were grasping.
Yeah, they don't really think he's a tyrant or a Hitler or any of that. They didn't actually think any of that. They didn't actually think that Kamala had any kind of, talent or ability. None of that. They didn't actually think that Walz was a good leader. Just completely disappeared, and they're absolutely shrunk. I think if they had come across with more finger pointing, but that's not what they're doing. They're just completely falling apart and basically going, all right, well, Morning Joe, those two clowns they actually went and visited Trump, mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, so you guys went and visited Hitler? Really? Is that what you did? There's just it's so ridiculous. So I've been super, super happy with that. And I would encourage everybody to remember this. There is a lesson to learn. When you hear, first off, don't be them next time.
Right. Don't
be the, I got to tell you, it used to be that the first person who compares somebody to Hitler loses the argument. Then I think that needs to be reinstated.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is, don't be this extreme sky is falling, oh my gosh, whatever. And remember the other side when they do that it's completely and totally untrue. And I'm just so happy about it. Okay. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And thanks for checking out Gun Owners Radio.